What the Business YouTube, episode 28. My name's Jay Florida, and today's career of discussion is a private investigator, or PI for short. So, what is a private investigator? A private investigator is a licensed professional hired by individuals, attorneys, or businesses to investigate legal, financial, or personal matters operating within legal boundaries to provide information. Now, to give you a piece of history, private investigators started in the early to mid 19th century with the first Eugene Francois Vidocq founding the initial private detective agency in Paris, France in 1833. Known as Le Bureau Renseignement, it aimed to provide investigative services that formal police forces did not, often hiring ex-convicts to conduct surveillance and undercover work. Now, a few basic requirements to becoming a private investigator or PI include passing a background check with no felony convictions, passing a licensing exam covering laws, ethics, and investigative techniques, obtaining a degree in criminal justice, police science, or forensic science, and applying for a state license. Now, all of this can take you anywhere from 2 to 6 years and cost you anywhere from $2,000 to $50,000 or more when considering licensing, training, equipment, and insurance. As far as your range, as an entry-level private investigator, you can expect to make $35,000 to $50,000, with a few things affecting how much you take home being your type of work, such as insurance fraud or corporate investigations, and your background experience, preferably being law enforcement, military, or security. A day in life as a private investigator can be described as completing background checks yourself, locating individuals, compiling information, and long and irregular hours surveying. As far as opportunity, anybody can become a private investigator if they choose to do so, and for that reason, the private investigator scores green. And as far as examples, we are actually short a list for this episode, so if you're wanting some more information on what it's like to be a private investigator or even how to become a private investigator, you can contact your local PI and do some investigating yourself. Moving on to our fact moment of this episode, starting off with fact number 1. V is for Mystery is a Family Guy episode that aired on March 25th, 2018, where Stewie acts as Sherlock Holmes and Brian as Dr. Watson, solving crimes in Victorian-era London. Fact number 2. Private Investigations is a song by the Dire Straits released in 1982 on the album Love Over Gold. And fact number 3. In comics, Bobo T. Chimpanzee is often referred to as a better investigator than Batman due to his intuitive deductive skills and supernatural knowledge. Now, for our last segment before we move on to the circle of influence, we have health risks and mitigation, starting off with musculoskeletal disorders as a result of extended surveillance and a sedentary lifestyle, cardiovascular issues as a result of lack of movement combined with poor nutrition, fatigue and exhaustion due to long, irregular hours, and emotional strain as a result of exposure to infidelity, violence, and pursuing missing persons. As far as mitigation, perform investigations in a spacious cabin. Prepare healthy, nutritious food in advance to avoid high-calorie fast food and stay hydrated rather than relying on heavy, unhealthy snacks. Use tools to identify potential dangers, avoid acting on emotion, and inform law enforcement when dealing with high-risk targets. And prevent burnout by ensuring proper sleep, especially after long surveillance, and managing stress through exercise or therapy. Now that does it for our primary segment. I'm going to go ahead and give the floor to my co-host, let him take over for the circle of influence. What the business, YouTube? How we hanging? All right, starting off the circle of influence, we have respect. Is this a career or position that brings me respect and dignity? Now for this segment, the private investigator does score green. As a PI, you are putting together the missing pieces for your clients, whether that be someone's defrauding my business on a monthly basis, my partner's having an affair and I need to prove it, or I have a friend that's been missing for 2 months or so and this is not like them at all. Moving on, we have growth. Is this a career or position that presents me with the opportunity to grow from a $100,000 earning threshold? For this segment, the PI does score yellow, with sources online citing that the private investigator has the potential to make anywhere from $175,000 to $250,000 in a single year. Next, we have gore. Is this a career or position that will have me dealing with an abundance of blood, violent action, grotesque imagery, or scenery? For this segment, the PI does score yellow. As mentioned in the health risks, you will be subjected to infidelity, violence, and missing persons. So, it's really no telling what a day will give you. Next, we have moral conflict. Is this a career or position that will have me compromise any of my foreseeable morals? Don't lie, don't cheat, don't steal, don't kill. The basic set of guidelines. And for this segment, the PI does score green. Moving on to the statistical side of things, we have gender demographics, where men make up 60% of the industry and women make up 40% of the industry. Next, we have ethnic demographics, where Caucasians make up 56% of the industry, Hispanics make up 20% of the industry, and African Americans make up 14% of the industry. Last, we have location demographics, top paying states in no particular order, kicking things off with Oregon, followed by New York and Virginia, and New Hampshire, closing out with Washington. Now that does it for the circle of influence. I'm gonna go ahead and give the floor back to Florida. I'm back just to put the PI, private investigator, in the summary. It's a career title that does not bring forth fame or notoriety. Hence, there isn't a list of examples for this video. However, there is money to be made in this profession. It also can bring you a sense of fulfillment, whether that be reuniting a missing person with their loved ones, or at least giving their loved ones the opportunity to give them a proper burial, or pinpointing the source of problems and issues for your clients. Also, if you already have background experience in law enforcement, military, or security, it's really easy for you to transition into this sort of career. And that's not to say that if you aren't already in one of these kind of fields, that it's impossible. It'll probably just take you a little bit longer, since you can't exactly build up a portfolio on private matters to go around showing people. With that being said, it does look like we have a full episode today. The word of the day is design. Self-help resources on the board. As always, I'll leave it down in the description. And to show your support, if you want to see this kind of content more often, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys on episode 29.